JJ, if there was kind of some element to the basketball gods there in those final seconds, you know, streak and all that, but you got a better pass. Rui's open in the corner. He ends up hitting the shot. Can you just take us through that sequence and how it results?
Just playing the game the right way. You always make the right play. That's just been my MO. That's how I was taught the game. I've done that my whole career. There's not even 1 second guessing that. Once they doubled AR and the ball got swung to me, I know it's a numbers game. We got a 4-on-3 advantage, and I was just trying to put the ball on time, on target, and right in Rui's socket in his shot pocket, and he knocked it down.
So you get the stop on the other end, no timeout, but Rui said in the walk-off that you communicated to him at some point. I don't know if you said, hey, I'm going to get you or get you the ball, or you get to it. What did you communicate? How did you do it in that amount of time with no timeout, no stop?
To put him in a payoff spot, you know, I looked over at their bench, and obviously we didn't want to call timeout. We had a good flow. You know, AR been cooking all night, and, you know, I started seeing our coach kind of, you know, telling, you know, Scotty Barnes to possibly double. So I wanted to keep Rui on the same side to be my payoff spot.
Obviously it paid off big time with the Rui 3. I know that's not been much time since the game ended, but now that the streak has ended for you, what feelings did you have, if any, what about it ended?
None. We won.
The general kind of offensive flow for you in the game when it came to getting your shot and stuff like that. How did it feel out there? A couple of the early misses were pretty uncharacteristically. I mean,
yeah. I'm still getting in a rhythm. This is my sixth game. Like I said, it's obviously well documented. I've never missed a whole training camp and a whole preseason before, and then let alone miss the first 14 games of the regular. So I'm still, you know, figuring out my rhythm, figuring out, you know, everything as far as offensively. You know, knowing I can still make an impact on the floor when I'm out there, but, you know, still trying to fill it out.
You know, you're 2-0 in the last 2 games. You haven't scored 10 points. No.
I won't make that a habit, though. But, like, listen, man, you guys know, the guys have been around me for 8 years. This is my 8th year here. I've been covering my career. You know, I'll just make the right play. That's all that matters. Win, lose, or draw. You make the right play. The game guys will always give them back to me, no matter if it was a win or loss or whatever. That's just how I was raised, and that's how I always play the game.
JJ was saying that he remembers, like, earlier in the career when you would get criticized, right, for making that pass instead of taking the shot. And I guess that collectively basketball has advanced some. You probably won't get a lot of critique for making that pass, but have you seen that evolution of it? And can you kind of remember back to those times of just sticking with what you know about this is the way you play basketball?
Yeah, of course I remember. I remember everything that's been negatively said about me in my game throughout my career, and it was always that aspect was always like one of the most foolish things I've ever heard, as far as making the right pass, making the right play. We are in the business of winning basketball games, and so, excuse me, my whole life I've just played the game that way. I've taught the game that way. And I've won at every single level I've played at by playing the game that way. So there was no reason for me to ever change. Once I got to this level, it doesn't change. Basketball is basketball.